Hello lads, how you well? Very different video today. This isn't really something that I've done before, but I make this channel up as I go along basically, but I also basically just do it to sort of be helpful, and I wish that I'd had a little Google or a little YouTube of advice for flying before I set off, because yeah, I wouldn't say a mare getting out here, but had a few things that went a little bit wrong, and I thought I'd make this video to try and help you guys avoid what I had. First bit of advice would be have a bag that you trust, that you've taken on holiday before, one that you know meets the requirements for onboard luggage or whatever it's called, one that you know like where all the compartments are, one that you know fits a lot of stuff in it. The last thing you want to be doing is scrambling around the house for a bag hoping that it fits and worrying that you're going to get to the airport and it's not going to get in the overhead thing, which was basically what I had taken it abroad once before, but years and years ago, and I started packing and realised that it basically didn't fit anything in it, so yeah, that was a little bit useless. My second bit of advice would be make a physical checklist of what you need to take out and physically tick it off with pen and paper. I know it sounds a little bit childish, but if you're going somewhere important, if it's just a casual holiday, then maybe not so much, because apart from your passport, like, you don't really need that much. But if you're going somewhere on a business trip or a wedding like I am, things can be important, because if you get out there and realise that you've left some of your wedding suit at home, you're in big trouble. Luckily I actually managed to resolve it, but it wasn't ideal. I had to go around many shops trying to speak a language that I don't speak, trying to find a tie for a suit that isn't just like a normal suit. So yeah, my advice would be physical checklist, write down everything you need and tick it off as you pack it. Third bit of advice, bit of an obvious one: get to the airport really early, like 2-3 hours early. I know it's annoying, but in this day and age, like, you can bring a laptop. It's not like you're just sat there doing nothing anymore. Like, they've got all the lounges and stuff like that. Bring a laptop, bring whatever, and just sit there, because for whatever reason, like, anything can happen when you're in an airport. So just get there early, because you don't know what you're going to run into basically. Another bit of advice I'd say is make sure you've packed your bag smartly. What I mean by that is make sure that you've got a section that you can get to your like laptop, electronic devices, whatever, easily when you're on the plane. So obviously you can go like watch a film on your laptop or whatever. The last thing you want to be doing is unpacking and repack, like everyone's trying to get past you on the plane. Absolute nightmare. Again, something I did when we was coming out here, so yeah, I'm going to think about how I repack my bag on the way home. That also goes for your liquids as well, because obviously you've got to get them out as security. Laptops, iPads, you've got to get out as well, so just make sure they're on the top basically, because again, having to unpack and repack your bag when you're on the plane or at the security desk is just an absolute nightmare. And the last thing you want to do is you forget a bit of liquid and then you get pulled into the room and it's like a 45-minute wait or whatever, just to find out that yeah, you left your deodorant in there or something. It's really not worth it. So pack your bag so your laptop, electronic devices and liquids are easy to get to. This one's more of just sort of like personal choice, but it is advice I give to people. Get an aisle seat if you can, just because it's easier to sort of turn away. You get a little bit more space. If you need to go to the loo or whatever, you've got a lot more manoeuvrability. Some people like the window seat, some people need to look out the window, which is sort of fair enough. As I said, personal choice. Always get an aisle seat, just because if you're sat next to someone who like stinks or someone who takes up quite a lot of room, you can just like sort of turn like, and you've got a little bit of space there. Whereas if you're in the window seat, or heaven forbid in the middle seat, you basically have no manoeuvrability whatsoever. This is one I actually got right. When you get to the other end, pre-book your cab. Make sure you've got your cab booked from the airport to wherever you're going, if you're not getting picked up obviously by like a friend or whatever. Make sure you've got your cab pre-booked from the airport to where you're going. That was an absolute godsend. I was really lucky that I've got a friend who actually lives out here, and he gave me the number for someone really good who we trust, and they were there at the airport. Took us absolutely no problem, because I would not have wanted to be walking around the airport trying to find a taxi, trying to speak a language I don't speak. And at the end of the day, if you're stuck at an airport, they can charge you whatever they want. Whereas if you've pre-booked a taxi and agreed a rate, you've got it all in writing, that's going to be so much easier. Final tip is don't just pack for going out there, think about when you're coming back as well. Are you going to be doing some shopping out there? Do you need to leave a bit of extra room? Are you going to be getting stuff at duty free? Have you bought a plastic bag, like, so you can put your dirty washing in there, so it's not sort of mixing up with the rest of your stuff? Again, something I've got a little bit wrong, my suitcase is completely full, so even if I wanted to go shopping out here, I couldn't, because I literally can't bring anything home, which is a bit of a nightmare. But yeah, make sure you've thought about how you're going to get your stuff back, not just how you're going to get your stuff out there. And one final bonus tip, this is something I literally learned sort of in the last week and a half. When you're checking in, ask them how full your flight is. If they say anything less than sort of 65-70%, it's always worth asking, are there any aisles with like spare seats? So like an aisle where there's only one person or no one sat on it, and just say, could you move me there? A lot of the time they'll do it. You can always be cheeky and ask for an upgrade to business or first class, but even in the airport, it'll be a lot cheaper, but they do still normally charge you for that. But if you just say, if they say, oh yeah, the flight's 45% full, like, the likelihood is there's going to be a whole aisle where no one sat on it. So if you just say, oh, could you move me to that? Could I get an aisle seat in that aisle with no one on it? Chances are they'll do it for free, because at the end of the day, it's no skin off their nose, really. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. As I said, it's a little bit of a different video. Like, I know my channel's more like self-development and everything like that, but like I said, I just like it to be helpful. And yeah, I haven't flown for 3 years, and I know a lot of people are sort of in the same situation, so I wanted to make this to sort of hope it makes everyone's life a little bit easier, because as I said, I wish I'd done something like that. If you did find any of it useful, please do consider liking and subscribing. Check out my other videos, they're all a little bit different to this one. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care, lads.